This is Detective Flanagan with the Fairfax County Police. The date is August 29th, 2013 at 19:18 hours. This is an interview with Officer Rodney Barnes at the West Springfield District Station in regards to an officer-involved shooting that occurred on this date. Officer Barnes, we're talking for a little bit about some of your background information. Before we get into talking about what the incident today, if we could go back over some of that, if that's okay. And if you could speak clearly so it's captured on the recorder as well.
Yes.
Okay. Rodney, can you state your full name for me?
Rodney Michelle Barnes.
Rodney, what's your EIN?
316949.
And when were you hired by the Fairfax County Police?
August 31st, 1998.
Okay. Did you have any military experience prior to that?
Yes, 10 years in the Navy.
Okay. And any other law enforcement experience?
Yes, Corpus Christi, Texas. Police officer with the Corpus Christi Police Department from 96 or 95 to 98. I can't remember. I know I came here in 98.
Okay. And you mentioned that you graduated from the Fairfax County Police Academy in 98, or that you were hired in 98. You graduated in 99. Right. Where did you go after the academy?
Mount Vernon District Station.
Okay, and were you was that in a patrol capacity?
Yes, patrol.
Okay, and did you transfer from that station at any point?
Yeah, 2000. I came to, I think it's 2000. I came here in 2000 or 2001. I think it was 2000.
Okay, and here is West Springfield
West Springfield, and I've been here though.
Okay, and all of that was in a patrol capacity?
Yes.
And aside from your regular academy training, have you had any other sorts of specialized training?
No, I was an SRO for almost 7 years.
Okay.
Here at the station.
Okay.
But I mean, we had training in the Navy, but that's different kind of.
How about have you had hostage negotiator training?
Yes, I have.
You have had that.
And I am a hostage negotiator too.
Okay. And how about crisis intervention? Have you ever
I've had that training too? Yes.
Okay. Any other training that you can think of?
I mean,
other than what you received in the academy initially?
I mean, I've been back to the academy for a lot of classes, but like criminal patrol tactics. I can't remember right off the head what I've been to at the academy for.
Okay. And with regards to your training, we also talked about the service weapon that you carry. What kind of service weapon is that?
226.
Okay, and that's
CXR 226.
Okay, and you're qualified with that?
Yes, I am.
What other weapons are you qualified with?
The shotgun and the taser. I mean, weapons.
Right.
I guess you would consider it a taser.
Taser, yeah.
That taser, pepper spray. I don't know if that's one of the things.
Okay. How about pepper ball?
Pepper ball, yes, pepper ball gun.
Okay. And I think you also mentioned, as far as special assignments, you were an SRL?
For almost 7 years.
Okay. And your current assignment right now, what is that?
Patrol Days A at West Springfield Station.
Okay, that's day work?
Day work, yes.
Okay. And on this particular day, what was your designator?
740 Bravo.
And Bravo means your day work, and at 740 means you cover area 740?
Right, that's my normal patrol area.
And that's just your standard patrol, responding for calls for service in your area, and then any other additional.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what cruiser you had today?
Yes, I had a blue unmarked, which is not my cruiser. My cruiser's been deadline, so I don't really have a cruiser right now. I used Midnight's cruiser last night. To yesterday and today, it's 40 through 25.
Okay. Now, when you say
a light package, got a whole police package.
So it's got lights and sirens?
Yes.
It just doesn't have the decals on it?
That's correct.
Okay. And could you describe your uniform for me? I guess the easiest way is probably starting at your shoes and then just kind of go up to your shoulders.
I have a pair of black Oakley leather boots, waterproof, and I have dark blue patrol pants with the cargo pockets, and I have a gray shirt with displaying my PFC and my that patch that says Fairfax County Police Department, and I have a outer vest, the new patrol outer vest, displaying my name barns and displaying embroidered Fairfax County badge. And I have a shoulder mic. And I have on my waist, I have 2 magazines. And my radio is up on the vest. And I also have a taser. I have an asp. I have a mag light. I have 2 handcuffs in the back. I have my service weapon on the right. I'm right-handed, and I have pepper spray in the front on the right.
All right, and you mentioned that you're right-handed.
I'm right-handed.
And the magazines that are stored in your pouch, the 2 on your belt, do you know the condition of those? What the load is on those?
I think one has 13. I think it's 13. 12, and one has 11.
Okay.
I didn't top it off.
Okay. And your weapon that's in your holster, your SIG, do you know the condition of that?
It's ready. It's one in the mag. It's one in the chamber, and I guess 11 in the magazine.
Okay. And the way you're dressed right now and what we just talked about, is that how you were dressed at the time of this incident?
Yes, it was.
Okay, no gloves, no hat or
No
coats
gloves,
or anything
no hat,
different?
no.
Okay. And I think you mentioned this, but you said you were right-handed, is that correct?
I'm right-handed, yes.
Okay. And what day of the shift is this for you guys?
It's the last day. It's our Friday.
And that's it's a 2-day shift for you?
2-day, yes.
Okay, this is the second of your
Right.
2-day shift. And how was your sleep last night? How would you describe it?
It's normal. When I usually get home, I usually sometimes nod out on the couch for a couple hours. My wife gets on to me about sleeping on the couch. So I went upstairs probably about 11:15 after taking the dog out. And I got up at 3, the clock goes off at 3:50. I probably got out of bed. I'll lay there for like another 10 minutes sometime.
Right.
So I think I actually got out of bed at 4. I always look at the clock. And then if I haven't showered before, I'll shower that morning and then get dressed and go downstairs and head to work.
Right. Are you on any medications now that would impair your judgment in any way?
I'm on medication, but not anything that would impair my judgment.
Okay. And how about alcohol use and drug use? Any alcohol or drug use in the last 48 hours?
I don't drink, and I haven't taken any drugs other than prescribed.
Your prescribed drugs? Okay.
And vitamins.
Okay. And for, you mentioned that you're days A. What time is roll call for day work?
05:30.
All right. And what time do you typically hit the street?
We have a short roll call, probably 10 minutes. And we are in service. He wants us in service by 6 o'clock.
All right. And was that the case this morning?
Yeah, around 6. I maybe for me, probably about 6:01, 6:02. But yes, we want us in service at 6.
And typically for day work, when do you guys come off the street?
Oh, day work. He wants us marked out at the station at 4.
All right. And your actual day ends
1600.
when?
What now? Oh, actual day is from 05:30 to 1700.
Okay. And you're in the station at 4?
1600.
Okay. All right. Now, as far as this morning goes, was it normal? Did you actually hit the street around 6 o'clock?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And you mentioned that you were 740 Bravo. In the course of your duties prior to this event, was there any strange or unusual calls this morning or today?
I wouldn't say strange. We had a suspicious person where we found 2. One was a teenager, one was an adult, sleeping in a stairway at a garage in Lorton at a condo that we had to deal with. And we were out on that a few hours because we was trying to reach a parent and pick up the 16-year-old because she was a minor.
And was that resolved without issue?
Yes, it was resolved.
Okay. Any other significant events during the day?
No, sir.
Okay. And in regards with the incident that we're here for, how did you first become aware of that?
Well, I knew they were going to. I heard they dispatched 730 Charlie units, 730 Charlie, 731 Charlie. I think that's the 2.
Okay.
Officer Neal and Officer Torres went to where what I caught of it was that the boyfriend had, and I read the event too, was throwing the bed and stuff out and wouldn't let her back in the house, and she said she was going to move her stuff. She was in the process of moving out.
Do you know what that event was dispatched as?
I want to say I think a domestic dispute. I don't believe it was I thought it was a domestic dispute.
And what's the difference between a domestic dispute?
Well, a domestic dispute is there's some kind of argument or something, and domestic violence is there's some kind of physical altercation involving a covered relationship or, a wife and.
Is it uncommon for one to lead to the other?
Yeah, it's not uncommon to lead from a domestic. You get there, it's not a domestic, it's domestic violence, and you get there, come out as domestic violence, and you get there was actually no physical contact, so then you make it a domestic dispute.
Okay. And would the same be true for the reverse, where you're dispatched to a domestic dispute?
And we change it to a domestic, because we find out in the investigation, if this is the case, like, hey, well, yeah, he pushed me, then it changes, But I wasn't the primary officer's responding.
And do you know approximately what time it was when this was first radioed?
I honestly didn't look at my clock, or I don't know.
All right. Did you weren't one of the officers that were dispatched. You just heard it.
No, the two primary officers were dispatched.
Okay.
Then I heard him sound like Torres got on the radio and said that the guy has a gun or something like that, and he wasn't going anywhere. We wasn't coming in. He got no problem shooting. I'm not sure the exact words, but it was something about a gun, and that they need another unit, or either the dispatch said send another unit. And they said, "Are you any unit available?" And I said 740 Bravo, and I said hold me en route. And then there was no other traffic I remember, and I actually went. Then I heard 741 say he was coming, and I went lights and siren. And then they said some other traffic, and I said that I'm about 3 minutes off.
Okay.
Did you just want me to talk, or you just really gonna ask to? Okay.
You could just tell it at your own pace. Sometimes if I'm writing and I write too slow, I might have to stop you. But so. You're running code to the call. You're running lights and sirens. And did you say it took you about 3 minutes to get there?
I made a comment because something else came on and said that they needed the shield, and then they said the first officer to get on the scene. I think Lieutenant Joker maybe said that. Said, hey, when the first unit, he said it was in his trunk. The first unit that gets on the next unit that gets on the scene, get the shield for him.
Okay.
So I said, hey, I'm about a couple minutes off, 2 or 3 minutes off.
Okay.
Like that.
At this point, had you heard for other resources being called?
There, at the same time when I said I was en route, 741 Bravo was en route, Bravo was en route, and maybe some other unit said something.
Okay.
I did hear 741, which is my partner down south.
Now, prior to you getting here, do you hear any more radio traffic?
I don't recall. All I know before I got there, when I said I was coming 3 minutes off, I told them I'd be on scene in 2 minutes or something like that. Okay. I said they restricted the channel.
Okay.
The dispatcher did.
And what happened when you arrived?
When I rounded Pebble, I can't remember. I came around the corner, came in, because you don't, when you come down, you don't, because of the number and you up high, you don't see it. So when I came down, I saw Torres' silver unmarked parked there, and I saw them standing in the yard, and I could see the guy in the door, the screen door, with his hands up.
Okay.
Because they were talking to him. And when I pull up behind Torres, his cruiser, and I went in the trunk. I grabbed the shield and the helmet. He had a helmet, and I brought that up to him. I said, seeing what he want to do with the shield, because I'm not shield qualified or whatever.
You brought that to Torres?
Yeah, because they asked me to bring it when I got on scene. So he's got them at gunpoint, both of them, and I wanted to see what he wanted to do with that. He said, set it by the tree. So I set the helmet down in the grass and set it against the tree, and then I took the trees here. I moved over to the left, and I was just standing there. I had my gun out, because Neil is kind of talking to him, but not really much going in there.
So who are the officers that are there
When I got there, I was the third officer on scene.
Okay.
Officer David Neal and Adam Torres were on scene.
Okay. And am I correct that if you come straight down the
They're
hill,
right,
the
that
house
was straight,
is,
right there.
the town is right in front of you?
Torres is on the left, like in the front yard.
Okay.
And Neil was kind of like on the sidewalk, on the edge of the grass, like it was like a V. Like here he is, and then here's Torres, and here's Neil.
Okay.
And the guy's in the door. And I said to
describe to me how
he has a white screen door with a screen.
Okay.
And he's inside the screen door.
Okay.
But I could see his hands up. Because they had ordered, I guess that's something they told him to keep his hands up. And he was talking to them through the screen.
Is there a full door too, like a hard door? Can you ever see that?
No, the hard door's in the back. It's open.
Okay, so the hard door's open full, and the screen door...
and the hard door was yellow. Looked like it was yellow. But the screen door was white and like black in the screen. And, you know what? It was a full screen door because you could actually see his shorts and everything. It wasn't one of those where it's just screen. Because that would be real bad, because it was a screen door where you could see the top, and you could see, I think he had shorts on.
Right.
You could see his feet, you could see his legs.
What? And you said his hands are up where?
His hands are like through the screen. His hands are on the screen. Like this, and he's talking to him through the door.
Is the screen door closed?
At times it opens a little bit, and it's closed. Like he would open it sometimes like about that much.
Okay.
In the course of talking.
Okay, and are you able to communicate with Torres, or do you learn more about what's going on?
Well, I kind of because I'm just here to cover for them. I didn't had no intentions or talking at the time when I got up. Torres wasn't really saying anything. Okay. David was saying something. I don't recall what he was saying. Like, hey, come out, whatever. Come, the guy. So I got there and I kind of waited, and it kind of like, David knew he was talking, but then I was like, I said, David, do you mind if and I said, hey, I'm Officer Barnes. I said, hey, I'm also a hostage negotiator, crisis negotiator. I said, hey, he said, what's your first name, Officer Barnes? I said, Rodney. He said, can I call you Rodney? I said, sure. And I said, what's your name? He said, I'm John. And so then the conversation, then for some reason, I cannot remember, that David went next door, I guess to talk. Somebody had maybe said something on the radio, so it just left me and Torres there. Okay. But then shortly after that, I don't know if David had moved yet, but I could hear Parker was there. Parker gets on scene, he got his rifle, and then Kushner gets there, and Kushner he took a position, and Parker took a position.
Okay.
And then I'm talking to him, and so it was just me and him talking.
All right.
And at that point, nobody else was talking to him.
Okay. And what do you, other than what you hear on the radio?
It was radio check the whole time. I mean, different people like Lieutenant Joker was saying stuff when they got down there, and a couple times Torres, we're at gunpoint. Torres got to get on the radio while we're at gunpoint with this guy, talking to whoever.
Right. And what the communication between you and this guy? What is that?
For us, I just told him we're talking. I said, hey, we don't want anybody to get hurt, and he seemed to like talking to me, but he wanted a couple of times he wanted Torres not to point the gun right at him, and
like what was he saying? How do we know that?
What do you mean?
Like what was he? You said that he didn't want Torres.
Well, when we got there, we had the gun. He said, "Hey guys, nobody's gonna get hurt here. I don't have a gun in my hand," and I don't know every exact word. He said, "Hey, can you not point that gun at me? Can you get officer or whatever to lower his gun?" And he was getting a little irritated. And I said, "Hey, well, we can't like drop our guns." But I did convince Torres to take it down to ready guns,
Right.
And we're talking. He seemed to be okay with that several times. And then the rifle, like Ben was out there with his rifle. Ben he was on him. He lowered it, but from that distance, it wasn't really low. It was down.
Right.
He just was seeming to get. He said, he said stuff like, so we're talking,
I asked him, he said, it's not against the law for me to throw things out. He kept calling, he referred to her as his partner, because they're not married, but they've been together 20-something years, and they have 2 kids. And later on, I asked him, so how many kids you got? How old are your kids? Told me. He said, yeah, they're awesome. I said, well, and then he made some comments about, some pregnant lady, people started to come home. He didn't want them, they don't need to see this. And I was like, hey, we don't want anybody to get hurt. He said, well, I know my rights. You can't come in the house. And I said, hey, we got no reason to come in your house. I said, not several times I was trying to get him to, hey, can you, he was saying, I know if I reach down or drop my hands, I could get shot. I said, hey, nobody's going to shoot you if you just do what.
At what point did he say that?
He said that he started to tell me like he knew like our procedures. Like, I know that if I drop my hand, I'm going to get shot. He said that to him several times. But along with that, because he kept going back and forth, and I'm talking to him, and he seemed to enjoy talking to me. And he said, early on, I was getting where, hey, why don't you come out and we'll talk? He said, well, what happened if I come out? I said, we'll just talk. I said, I'm going to give you some commands, and then they teach us. He said, no, not commands. I said, well, I'll ask you to come out, and you have to do some things. He said, how you got to switch or make it more human, where he didn't really want to, like you authority. He knew we were. Right. So he said, well, so if I come out, what's going to happen? And I kind of told him what the surrender, what he needed to do for us to come out. He said, am I going to be handcuffed? I said, well, I'm going to put you down on your knees, and I'm going to ask you some things. I said, we're going to handcuff you till we sort this out, and for your safety and my safety. And then we'll find out what's happening.
Okay.
He said, well, I'll come out if those guys move back to a van way back. And I said, well, and then he said, you stay here. I said, well, they can't leave me here. Can't stay here, And he was back and forth, and he was like, no, I know what's going to happen if I step out here, because I have different rights than if I step out on the porch. I said, well, this is your property. If you come out on the porch, there's going to be nothing different for your rights. I mean, it's still your house, your property. I said, we just want to talk to you and find out what went on here. And what. He said, well, I know that y'all can't put me out because I know I can put her out, and I know it takes 30 to 90 days through the courts to get her out. And so he was telling us that. And then I asked him, I said, hey, trying to deflect him. I said, hey, what do you do for a living? He said, oh, well, I deal with kitchens. I said, well, like remodeling? He said, no, I sell kitchens, and I do it from the house. I just sell complete kitchens, and I do it from here. And he, I'm just trying to get him off of. And then he, and he said, well, what if I come out there and sit down on the step? I say, if you come out and sit on the step, we'll talk. He said, just you and me. I said, well, we'll talk, but they can't leave and leave me here. Mm-hmm. He said, well, no, because I know. He said, well, you know what? I'm getting tired, and I need some water, and I want to go get some water out of the kitchen. So I'm gonna shut the door, go in, get some water. And he made a comment one time where you can come get some water with me. I was wanting you to come inside. I said, no, I can't come inside your house. He just wanted me to come in. Of course, I wasn't going to do that. And he said, then we was talking about the gun. And I'm kind of jumping around. And he said, yeah, I do have a gun. It's sitting right here on the couch, on the chair, right by the door. Like he's standing there. He said there was a gun. He had set right there.
Oh, you're motioning to the left side?
To his left.
Okay.
Like you facing the door. He's facing us. He said there was a gun. He laid down. He said it was he described it, .357. He said it was in a holster, either brown holster, whatever. He said, I know. He said the barrel, he said that the butt isn't facing me. He said, and he kind of opened the door a little bit more. He said, oh, Samara, see? Can you see it? It's right there. I kind of looked, but I couldn't see it. He said, you see it? And I said, I can't see it. He said, well, it's here. He said, I don't want anybody to get hurt. I said, I don't want to get shot. I don't want anybody else to get shot. I said, well, hey, we don't want anybody to get hurt.
Did he say why he had the gun there?
No, he never told me why he had the gun there. He just said he had it there. Now, before I got there, I don't really know. Neil said later something about he had something in his hand, but he put it down. I'm thinking that must have been the gun. They can tell you, I don't know any of that.
Okay.
And then, but he said, well, Oswald, why don't you come get the gun? He said, you come get the gun and we'll talk. I said, well, I can't come in the house and get the gun. He says, right here. So he opened the door a little bit more. He says, right here, just come and get the door. I said, I tell you what, if you come outside, then I'll get the gun. He said, no. And then he said, no. I said, okay, well, he said, I ain't going to reach for it. I'm not. And a couple of times he needed to scratch his nose. He would say, hey, I'm going to scratch my nose. And he would slowly take his hand and scratch his nose. And one time he said, can I get my phone? It's in my front left pocket. But he had like a polo shirt on. It was a little longer. I said, no, just don't reach. He said, what if I reach? I said, listen, don't reach. We don't want you to reach in your pocket. He said, well, can I just put my hand in my pocket? I said, no, please don't. And he didn't. He didn't do it. He said, do you mind if I just... He opened the door and said, can I just... Because he was getting tired. He said, can I just put my hand over the top of the door? Like, he had the door
right.
Open a little bit out. And he just caressed. That kind of help you.
Right.
And he moved around to kind of hold him. So I let him... I said, yeah, sure. And so you know what? I'm just going to shut the door, go back in here. You can come in here and talk to me. I said, no, I can't come in here. And this went on, and then he was like, well, tell them to move. If they'll move all the way back, I'll come out and talk to you. But I don't want to be handcuffed. So then I even said, okay, I said, you come out, you sit down, we're not going to handcuff you. He said, no, you want to get me separated from my house. He said, no, I'm not closing the door. I said, well, could you just come out? I said, you can even prop the door open. Screen door, prop it open, just come sit down on it. He wouldn't do that. But
even after you said you wouldn't handcuff him?
No, I said I wouldn't happen. And then he would say, if they move all the way back and you stay here, well, they weren't going to leave me there by myself.
Right.
So I said, we can't do that. Then we're talking. He said, I'm just going to go back in the house. And this went on. And he said, and a couple times I said, well, hey, have I disrespected you? And he said, no, you haven't. You haven't. We're talking. But I want them to leave. Then a couple times he asked to scratch his nose again. He would tell us. He said, I'm going to scratch my nose again. And then next thing I know, it's like, pow! And it kind of started you like, what? And the whole time my finger is down the side. Because as it went on, a couple times he kept saying, he said, man, he keep pointing that gun at me, talking about Adam. He said, he keep pointing that gun at me, Now, I didn't say nothing. Then he was bored, whatever. And then next thing I know, I heard a pop, And he had just scratched his nose and put his hand back up there, and it just happened so fast. And I'm like, when he shot, I'm like, to myself, who the fuck shot? I knew it wasn't him. And then when it shot, it went pow. And then for an instant, and then when the shot went off, first I thought it was a rifle. I said, no, that's not a rifle. And because Torres was right here, he wasn't far from me. And it was loud. And he go, ah! When he got shot, he was like, ow! And I kind of saw him, do like this. And as he went back, he just went back. And as he was going back, he shut the door. Boom. I just heard it. Boom. Now, I couldn't tell if he went to the floor. Because they asked me, the hostage negotiator asked me later, because he saw me up there, hey, did he fall? I said, I don't know. He said, well, he's right there. I said, I don't know if he's right there. Then later on, a couple of times I heard, like, moving in the house, like something, maybe he was on the floor or down or he stumbled. I don't know where they found him.
Right.
So, but when we shot went, I think out of my eye, I saw Dave and him retreat to better cut something. But me and Torres, where we were, we just went to the side. It's brick. The next, right next to it, like you got the window. We went right here, brick, where we just had an angle at the door. And then it said shots fired, and then there was some confusion because Joker was out there and saying, yeah, we don't know who shot. And then I said, I kind of got a little pissed because I'm like, hey, it was too many people talking. Everybody was. I said, I need the channel. You know, I said, an officer fired a shot. He was hit somewhere in the stomach area, somewhere, you know, and he went back into the house. Shut. As he was going backwards, he yelled. She said, ah, and he shut the door. And in that motion, he shut the door. So, because the door, which way the door open? I want to say the door opened, is it this way? Anyway, I think it went this way. Because the screen door opens this way. And I want to say that the door opened maybe this way. But anyway, in his motion, because when he went back, the door closed, slammed.
The hard door.
The hard door. And then I said, hey, an officer fired, he's hit. And I kind of figured, should I say, it looked like in the stomach or whatever. And then we moved. Adam was behind me. And he said, because I said, who shot? He said, I did, I'm sorry. And he says, he moved his hand down to his waist. I said, I didn't see that, you know, and I never took my eye off of it. I'm like, and I said, you okay? He said, you okay? I said, I'm fine, you know, a little pumped up. I'm like, he said, man, my wrist. He said his wrist was hurting. I don't know if it was from where he was holding it, but he said, I jammed my wrist or something. And he kept making look. I said, Bree. He said, oh man. I said, you're gonna be okay. Okay, we gotta deal with this. You're gonna be okay. And he, you know, he's like, man, you know. He said, I'm sorry. I'm like, you're gonna be okay, Torres. We deal with this. You know. He said, I'm sure. I said, you're gonna have to do all that. You're fine. Just deal with that. You deal with it. Then he made a comment because I was like, he said, you okay, Judge Bree? I said, I'm good. He even patted me on the shoulder. I said, I'm okay, because I was pissed, but then like, what the hell just happened here? You know. He said, did you see it? I said, no. That's all I said. I didn't like, man, what the fuck? Why did you do that? That wasn't time for that. It wasn't. But I was also trying to calm him down. He was concerned about me. You know, he said, you all right, man? And he said, because I wouldn't really say anything to him because we were watching the door and we need to. And he said, man, I know I'm going to have to talk to I said, yeah, we all are. He said, they're going to take my gun. I said, yeah, they're going to do all that. You know, because he don't know.
Right.
And then he made a comment that he said, man, I did have an argument with my wife before I came to work. You know, I'm saying to myself, you know, I didn't say, hey, I said, man, you're going to be okay. Just deal with this.
What do you think he meant by that? Or did he say what he meant?
No, I mean, I guess he was just trying to give reason. Now, in my mind, I'm like, what the hell just happened here? You know? And I could tell he was shaken up.
Right.
Which is normal. And then, you know, he's the one that fired the shot. I'm like, maybe he saw something I didn't see, but I'm like, I had a perfect view. And, you know, and I'm like, hey, and then he kept saying, man, they need to get in there and get him. We need to get him, you know. I said, hey, we got to hold tight. We can't just, you know. And then I'm like, I was kind of pissed because I'm talking to him like, you know, is he okay? You know, is he okay? And I even started yelling in there, hey, John. But a couple times, they can hear the recording, I heard him inside. I know for a fact he
heard him talking?
And I heard like stuff moving, you know,
right.
For a couple times. Then it got to a point where there was nothing.
How long did you guys stay out front?
To attack. TAC came up on the Delta side, like if you facing it, they were over there. Mm-hmm. The Delta side. And when they came around, they told us they were coming. They got on the corner. They said, so I moved down to where, like two townhouses down, and where Dave and a couple other guys, and we moved right to the tree line. Mm-hmm. There's a center island, and we stayed right there. Where there was me, Dave Parker, Dave Neal, Anthony Corto, because that's where he was the whole time. I didn't know this. Mm-hmm. And then Eric from Evenings was standing. He came down there. Then eventually Lieutenant Joker came. And then, before that, before we got moved out of there, they asked. I kept telling them, I said, hey man, I can get you a relief. because I knew it was a matter of time they're going to call for him.
Right.
And next thing you know, they said, hey, can we get Torres relieved? So Dave had a rifle. He came up to where I was, and we were there a while, and then Torres went back to the command bus, and we were there for a while to attack. I don't know how much longer, but it was a while. And TAC told us, we get out of there. We came back around to where we were out of the way, and then Joker gets there. And he was trying to tell us, which I knew, the robot was on his way down, which I know what the robot, and he was trying to going through to tell Ryan and then what was next. And, but Torres kept, before he left, like, hey, we need to get in there, we need to get in there and get him. I said, I know, we need,
Was he concerned for the guy being...
Yeah, he was. He was. He was concerned, and he was scared, and I was mad, because I was like, what the hell happened here? And I'm saying to myself, and I didn't say it to him, because I was concerned about him. I'm not here to throw him under the bus or anything like that, but I didn't see what he saw, what he thought he saw, or whatever. I don't know if his finger was on the trigger. I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's go back, and I guess we'll start with, like, in a little more detail. You're in your car, and you hear the call come out. And you said you read the CAD traffic.
I had read the traffic, about what the call was.
Do you remember what the CAD traffic said?
Something about he had thrown. Oh, I read where there was no alcohol and the weapons were secure or something.
There were weapons in the house?
Yeah, but they supposedly were secured.
Okay.
That's from the call taker.
Okay.
And I wasn't going because it wasn't, at that point they didn't say anything about, hey, he said he has a gun and he ain't coming out and we better not come, whatever.
Then the first thing you hear about the gun is from the officers that are on the scene?
Adam, because he was talking.
And what do you recall from that?
When I heard him say the guy got a gun, he ain't coming out, then they asked for another unit. I said, any unit? I said, 740 Bravo, hold me en route. Then I heard 741, then I said, hey, as we going, when I got turned on the Who's, running code, turned on Who's, because I didn't have 4 to go up the Who's and make a right on Newton to Forest, then I know I got to make a left on Maple Leaf. And so I was on scene. And
was there any radio traffic or CAD traffic about threats against the officers from the guy?
I thought I heard him say that he would shoot us if we come in there or he has a gun. I didn't hear it all. I just heard him about that he had a gun. He wasn't coming in. We wasn't coming in, or he wasn't coming out. It would be bad if we came in. That's the kind of what I heard.
And what do you hear? You're hearing it on the police radio?
Yeah, it's on the radio from Torres. Because
so
he called,
relaying that to the
and that's why they said, "Hey, we need a unit." So I knew at that point I don't need to go casually, so I ran code.
Okay.
And then they restricted the channel. And then he said they were talking about something else. He said, I don't know, that they needed the shield. And I said, hey, I'll be on scene shortly. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever. And I got on scene and I saw them in their position.
So when you're coming down the street,
The actual street,
on Pebble. Yeah. The townhouse is straight down at the bottom of the hill?
Yeah, when I came, because when you first come in, you were way up there, like what a command thing is.
Right.
You come down, then I saw his car, because I didn't actually know, when I saw Torres, he always drives a silver Unmarked.
Okay.
And I didn't see Neil's car because he was over to the left, like around. Yeah. But I saw his car, and I saw him standing in there, and I pulled up behind his car and got his...
All right, you parked behind his car?
Right behind it.
All right, and as you're looking at the townhouses straight ahead of you, from right to left, which townhouse is his? How far in?
Maybe the third one. From the right end, it was maybe the third or fourth one. I don't remember. Third, I don't remember. Because I didn't know the number. I knew the numbers, but you couldn't see the numbers from there. How I knew which one it was, when I saw him standing in the door, I said, oh, damn, it's right there. I don't know if it was the third in or fourth in. I'm not sure. Maybe more than that. Fourth, I don't know.
Was it closer to the right or to the left?
It was closer to the right.
Okay.
It looked like to me. I don't really know how long they were. I think it may be even, but it may be. I thought it was close to the right.
And the screen door, which way did that open?
Outward, to the right. Like if you facing it, it opens this way. Like if I'm facing it, it opens like this.
Okay, so when you're coming from the outside in, the knob is on the right-hand side? And do you know which way the large interior door, which way that one
It
opened?
had to open opposite because I could see in what he was trying to show me. Like if he opened the door a little bit, like he opened it enough where I could see in past him. So the door, because I wouldn't have been able to see that. So I think the door, if you facing it, it opens opposite of what, well, you know what I mean? It opens, like if you open that door like this, the screen door this way, the door opens this way.
Okay.
That's what it looks like. Because if it was that way, there's no way I could have seen inside of there where he was trying to tell me the gun was. Because I could actually see in there.
Okay, so if this little sketch, it's not accurate.
The screen door opens this way.
Right, so if this is the screen door opening like that, and then this is the main door,
The main door opens that way.
like this,
Like when
right?
you facing it. Yeah, open.
So the knob would be here, opening like that?
No, knob would be on the right.
Okay, then how would the knob be on the right on this door then, on the screen door?
The knob was here because it opens. The screen door only opens one way, outward. You can't go inward.
Right.
You know what I mean? The screen door opens this way.
So they're opening it like this?
The screen door is this way, and the door open this way.
So is that right, like that?
Yeah. So if he closes it, wait a minute, it don't look right. I'm trying to think. All I know, I saw the door. There's no.
Where
if the door,
he's mentioning the gun is right down where you...
when he opened the door enough, I could look right in here. He was trying to tell me that the gun was right there on
So
something.
facing inside out, the gun's to his left?
Yeah. So the door couldn't have opened this way because I wouldn't have been able to see it. So the hard door had to open that way.
Okay.
That's why I figured. I couldn't see. Maybe because there's no way. Because I wouldn't be able to see in. Is that confusing?
Well,
It looked like the door, like this door here. It looked like this door opened this way. Because I wouldn't have been able to, if the door opened like this, if the door opened this way, then I couldn't have seen in there. You know what I mean?
right.
That's what I just.
Okay, just to the best of your memory.
Yeah.
I can go down and look at the door.
Yeah.
So
I know it was like yellow looking.
out in front, what is out in front of, like, where are you guys located out in front of the town?
There ain't nothing. We're out, like you got the yard, like there's grass here, yard, and there's grass over here, and there's a sidewalk.
The sidewalk that leads up to the front door?
Yeah, well, you got the sidewalk out here, but there's a sidewalk leading up straight to the front door. I was in the grass over here. There's a tree in the yard here.
Okay, and
Torres was right there by the tree.
is there a parking lot? Like,
Yeah, that's where the cars pull up. You had the parking lot, sidewalk, the regular sidewalk to walk down the front of them. Yeah, like that. Then you had the sidewalk to walk, for each townhouse you got. Right.
Okay, and you said there's a tree over here?
There's a tree right in the yard, like right here.
Okay.
It wasn't a real wide tree. It was long. And Torres was right here. I was right here.
He's to the right of the tree?
Yeah.
Is he using the tree as cover? Or?
Kinda. I mean, it wasn't a lot of cover, Now, I'm in the open over here.
And you're right here?
Yeah. Because they were here, and Neil was like here. Neil was like here. Like right there.
Is he
He's closer to the sidewalk. No, he has nothing for cover. Because I guess, now I don't know, they must have was getting ready to talk to him, and then he wouldn't come out the door, and they was just talking to him right there.
Where are the positions of the other officers, if you know?
Okay. There's a a van or something. There was something parked there. So Parker was like on the end of that car.
There's a van?
Like some kind of vehicle. I don't remember what kind of vehicle. And Parker was like right there. You know, cover. He had cover. If I think I'm right here. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And then I saw Ben. You got other townhouses over here.
Right.
There's some cars here, and Ben is on the front corner.
In front of the cars?
Yeah, but like he was the front of the car. Like here's the car. He's like right here, and he got his rifle.
Okay.
Like let's say, yeah, you're right. Like let's say he might have been this car. I don't know if it was this car, and he's right there with the rifle.
What's Ben's last name?
Kushner. Kuschner. Kushner, whatever. Yeah. It's Kuschner.
Any other officers that you remember?
Now that's it. Now, for us, I knew Neil and him was at a house, the townhouse down by where the family was, the son. Neil, I just know Neil went over to a house behind us, like down here somewhere.
Where was he at the time of the shooting?
No, he wasn't there. Neil had left to go over here for whatever reason. I don't remember what.
Okay.
I don't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember what he went for.
So he wasn't there at the time the shot was fired?
No, he wasn't. But he could hear. I mean, he had a position over here, like, so he couldn't see it. And then,
any other officers that you remember?
I know Lieutenant, like back here, I could see the cars, like our cars are here. I could see Lieutenant Fish out there.
Up there, up the street?
Yeah, I know they were out there. I just didn't really pay much attention to them.
Okay.
I was focused on him. At the time of the shot, I don't really know who was over here. Maybe they came after. I don't know.
Okay. And
then we moved to the corner.
Right. Wait, after the shooting?
Yeah.
Okay. Before that, so this is where you're negotiating from, right here.
Mm-hmm.
And how does the negotiation start off with you talking? Or describe it like his demeanor, like when you first get there.
He was just in the door, and he's talking to Neil. Neil's talking to him, and I don't remember exactly what they were saying. They were talking, but it started to go like, you know, I'm not coming out and all this, and, you know, y'all need to leave, something like that. And Neil kind of like, I felt, was getting maybe a little stumped, you know.
Well, what was the guy saying? What do you remember him saying?
I don't remember exactly what he was saying. Like, you know, he said something about all these officers, and at the time I was the only one there. The other ones hadn't got there yet. Mm-hmm. And I just came up with the shit. He said, oh, something like y'all bringing everything or something like that. And I asked Neil where he wanted to, you know, I asked Torres where he wanted to, you know, he couldn't really take the shield right then. And, you know, at that point, you know, and he said, just put it by the tree. So I leaned it up against the tree. Okay. And then I went to the left of the tree with gun drawn, you know. Then he was concerned about why the guns were pointing at him. And then Neil was saying something, but Neil didn't talk to him. Neil talked to him for about another couple of minutes, and then I kind of like say, Neil, do you mind?
What was the guy saying to them?
Like, it's not against the law to throw her stuff out, and stuff like that. And Neil said, hey, won't you just come out and we can talk to you? And he really appeared like he didn't really want to talk to Neil, you know, like he wasn't going.
Did he say anything about the gun at that point?
No. I don't recall him saying anything about the gun. I don't. He didn't have one in his hand.
Okay. And then you start talking.
Yeah, I said, hey, do you mind? They said, hey, you know, I started talking to him, introduced myself, and then he said, can I call you? What's your first name? I said, can I call you Rodney? I said, sure. I said, because I said, Officer Barnes. I said, hey, I'm a negotiator. Also, you know, we can. He said, well, what's your first name? Rodney. He was real, you know, kind of, so I said, Rodney, sure. He said, well, I'm John. I said, okay. So can I call you John? Then we start talking, you know, kind of went over what went on today, and that, you know, he hadn't broken any laws, and he said something at one time that I seemed to be reasonable or something like that, you know, and I'm just trying to keep him talking.
And what was his demeanor?
He looked irritated at times, like while we were here, we didn't need to be there, and he was irritated. Like he spoke well, you know what I mean. He kind of like he would like he was just telling us what we could do, what we can't do, and and he said I can call my lawyer and get him on the phone, and a couple of times he was upset that they had the gun pointed at him, and I got him to lower him to ready gun, and he appreciated that. He said, hey, he said nobody needs to get hurt today. He said that several times. Like I said, I asked him about his kids, I asked him why we were here, what happened today, and he just said, hey, I got every right to throw stuff out, and I asked him, said, hey, so do y'all own the house together? He said, nope, I've owned this for 20-something years, and it's in my name. I said, okay. He said, I know it's going to take 30 to 90 days for her to, me to put her out. And he was saying that his dad, I guess, supposedly, I didn't see him. He said, so I see that's my dad out there. I guess some people had come. Now, at one point, there was a guy that was down there with fishing him. I'm talking to him. For whatever reason, they told him to talk to the guy. He said, what are you doing, John? I hear him like, what are you doing, John? I don't know who that was. He said, oh, that's my friend. What is he doing here? Well, first he said, oh, my dad's out there now. And then his friends up saying, come on, I'm trying to call you on the phone. Come on out here, man. Don't do this, And then they finally shut him up, the friend, because I guess he tried to call him on the phone. And that kind of irritated him a little bit. So what's all this?
When you say he was irritated, like
that the friend was out there talking to him.
But what was he doing that made you think he was irritated?
He said, "Man, what is he doing here?" He said, "Now they want everybody to talk to me, something like that." And then finally, whatever reason, I don't know who did it, he stopped talking to him. And then I said, "Hey, And then he started talking to me again. I got his attention because I guess they shut him up because I was in the middle of talking to him I didn't expect that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Were you guys giving him commands, or did you give him a surrender?
Yes, I did. I said, "Hey, John, why don't you come out and talk to us?"
And what would he say?
And he said, "No, I'm not coming out, and you can't come in." Then I said, "Hey," "I'm gonna give you some commands. You come out and talk to me." He said, "What?" He said, "What happened? What I have to do if I come out?" And I told him. He corrected me. He said, "Commands." He said, "You can ask." I'll tell you what. I said, "I'll ask you to do some things for me." I said, "It's for my safety and your safety." He said, "What is that?" I said, "You open the door, keep your hands where we can see them. You're going to come out, turn around, walk back to the voice, and when I tell you to stop, you'll go to your knees, keep your hands over your head, and then you're going to be handcuffed." He said, "No, I'll come out, but I'm not getting handcuffed." So then I changed and said, "Hey, how about you come out where we can talk?" And he said, "No, you're trying to, I know if I come out there, there's different rules. If outside of my house, I said, this is your property." He said, "Well, why don't y'all just leave? You stay here and everybody just leave." And he said, then I changed and said, "Well, no handcuffs. Just come out and talk to me." I said, "Why don't you just sit down?" A couple times he said, "Well, if I just come out there and sit down, what's going to happen?" I said, "We're just going to talk." "No, I don't believe you." And he kept talking about, "I know those long guns can take me out." I said, "Listen, if you don't make any movements and keep your hands up, that's not going to happen." He said, yeah. I said, "No, And then, I'd asked him earlier, I said, "Hey, have you had anything to drink?" I heard that earlier. He said, "Last night," because it appeared that maybe he may have been drinking. I didn't know. That's why I asked him.
What made you think that?
Just the way, he was kind of like red, and it could have been from the sun. He just looked like he was red. Like, I was asking, had he been drinking?
Was his speech slurred or?
At times, but not really. But I just thought maybe he had some drinks. He said, "I had a few drinks, but it was last night." And went on from that. And I told you he tried to get me to come in and get the gun. Here's the gun. I'm going to go get some water, come back. He said, "If I just shut the door, then ain't nothing y'all can do." I said, "True," but I said, "I don't want you to do that, John. We're talking. Try to resolve this." And that kept him talking,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at times you would think you would make some ground because he opened the door. He'd think about it. And he said, "Well, if everybody moves back and you stay here, I'll come out."
But even when you changed your plan and told him he wasn't going to be handcuffed, he then still didn't come out?
Yeah, he said he would if everybody moved. And then he said, no, I know the law. My rights change when I come out. I said, but you're on your porch. You're still on your property. He said, okay, yeah, it is my property. Why don't y'all just get off my property? He said, I haven't broken any laws. And then he would let us know when he got to scratch his nose. And one time, he only asked to get his phone one time, and I told, I said, hey, he said, I know, I might get shot. I said, listen, you don't know. He said, the gun's right here. See it, Officer Barnes? You see it, Officer Barnes?
Why do you think he was showing you the gun?
He wanted to let me know that it was where he said it was. But I really couldn't see, and that was dark. He said, it's right here. He described it, 357. It's in the holster. The butt is turned the other way, He said, I'm not going to reach for no gun. That's what he said. He said, see, Officer Barnes, see? Then he said, hey, come get the gun, Officer Barnes. Well, that wasn't going to happen.
Why wouldn't you do that?
I don't know what else he had,
So was he, in your mind, he was still a threat to you?
With that gun being that close, I thought so. Because even if I moved up, I'm in the line of fire of the other officers. Mm-hmm. And from my vantage point, it would have to be like shooting through the screen. You know what I mean?
Right.
If he reached,
Right.
Then I'm like, okay, I just didn't think that was a good idea to go. I did say, if you come outside, out here where we, away from the door, in the ground, I'll get the gun. No, you can come in and get it. Because he opened the elevator and said, come get it. See, Officer, come get the gun. He said, I'll stand right here. That's just too.
Did you think he was trying to bait you into trying to come in there to get the gun, or?
I don't know. Did I think he was sincere about giving me the gun? I don't know. But I did want to get him away from that gun. It was just too close. If there was a gun there, I didn't see it. I couldn't see it. He kept saying it's right here.
He was inferring that it was within arm's reach?
Oh, it's right there. Like he's standing here. Got the door, and it was dark. I couldn't see. He said, it's right here. It's staying right here. There must have been something there. Like a tape. I don't know. He says, right there. See, you want to see?
And you're motioning to your left-hand side there?
Yeah, which was his my right, his left. Here he is, here's the knee. It seemed like he could have just reached over and got the gun.
Okay.
I couldn't see it. He tried to let me see it.
And when you're talking to him, you said earlier that you had heard Officer Torres on the radio talk about threats he had made about shooting police officers or
something. I didn't catch all of it. I just said, hey, I'm not going anywhere, and it won't be ugly. It'll be something ugly, or I didn't catch it all. I just talked about.
Was there anything like that said when you were actually there?
No, when I got there, he just said, hey, he told me he didn't want anybody. I don't want anybody to get shot. And he said, and I don't want to get shot because I don't want to die today. That's exactly what he said. Mm-hmm. But he never said anything while I was there about if we came in there, he would shoot. Not to me.
Did he make any threats towards anyone?
Not while I was there.
Okay. All right, and then you said you're talking to him, and walk me through again. He says he talks about going back inside the house to get some water.
He said he was thirsty. He said, listen, I'm thirsty. I'm going to go in the kitchen and get some water. You can come in with me if you want to and watch me get the water. I said, well, I can't do that. And then he said, I'm going to shut the door and I'll come back. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to do that, and he didn't shut the door. Because a couple of times, like, oh, yeah, he's going. But I kept talking to him, I said, hey, I did some stuff for you. Like, we're not, will you just stay here and talk to me? I'm thirsty. And I cut several times, say, hey, I can get you some water. Come out on the stoop. I said, you can either stand there, shut the door, or prop it open, stand there, or sit down on the stoop, and we'll talk. Then he kept saying, well, my rights change after I step out on the stoop.
Did he ever leave the doorway while you were there talking to him?
No.
Okay. And then what happens next?
Well, we hear the shot.
Well, tell me, where are you looking right before you hear the shot?
The whole time I'm looking at him, his hands were up here.
Okay.
His hand, a couple times his hand would slide down, like he would take it off and slide it down. And then when he would say, hey, I'm going to scratch my nose again. He would do that 3 times. But he never, dropped his hand down, because then that's critical.
Your motion, all the way to his waist.
Right.
Yeah.
He never, and I never seen him go past here. I did. I'm looking, I could see.
Like chest level?
Yeah, he would go, he would go here. He never like. Well, one time he's like, hey, if I get my earlier, what can I just get my? And then the guns went back up. That's early on. No, okay, don't get your phone. He only mentioned the phone once.
All right. So when you see him right before he gets shot,
Right before he got shot, his hands were on the door, but I can't remember if he had dropped them a little bit. But they were still up.
is he hanging on the door like you described earlier?
I can't remember if he was still hanging on the door, but they were like down. I can't remember if he was still hanging on the door. He might have dropped them because a couple times he would just bring them down, then he would reacquire the door.
So when you're saying drop them and you're motioning, you're like motioning like dropping them to shoulder.
Right, like you know. But then that's why the shot surprised me. I'm like,
Had he dropped them right before the shot? Had he dropped them to the shoulder level?
they were still up kind of high. I don't know if he was still on the door, but it wasn't. It may be in shoulder level or a little high. But he didn't. I mean, and they were still up.
Okay.
Whether he was still on the door,
And you're looking at him as the round is discharged?
yeah. Because when the shot went, I'm looking at him. I'm like, he go ah. He's like,
You got your hands out in front of you when you're doing that.
With me? No. When the shot went, he go ah, and he goes back. The door closes.
Do you see his hands go to his side?
His right hand came like here, like kind of like ah, something like this. The right hand,
Right.
and then in the same mode, he went back, and then the door closed. I don't know which hand he used. He might have moved. I just saw him go. He goes back. Now I don't know if he used his right hand to shut the door. I don't know.
But when he gets shot, and what you're displaying to me now is you're standing up and with his right hand, he puts his right hand.
Something like that, and then probably could better see how the door was closed. 'Cause
Right.
when
Before we get to the door closing, when you're displaying how he moved his right hand to
when the
his.
shot went, pow, he go ah, and he went, and I said he goes back, like quick, ah, screamed. Next thing I know, the door's closed because I lost sight of him.
But listen to my question. With your right hand, you're motioning to where he's injured.
Yeah, he grabbed something like he was reaching wherever he was hit.
Yeah, my question is, when you're just showing me how he did that, you're bringing your right hand from waist level
No.
to his side. So
No.
tell me
He
how.
was up.
Okay.
When the shot happened, his hands were up, and he go ah, and then I saw the right hand come down.
Okay.
Not like right here coming down.
Right.
It was up higher.
Gotcha. Okay.
Then the door closed. He went back, because they asked me, "Did he fall?" I said, "I don't know." He just went back in. The door went. Now Ben or Parker could probably see better. Hey, because it was like a one motion.
And Parker's by the car at the end of the sidewalk?
Parker's over here, and Ben's over here.
Right. Okay.
You mind if I piss and come back?
No, we can, why don't we take a break? The time is 20:21 hours. It's a continuation of the interview with Officer Rodney Barnes. The time is 20:25 hours. Officer Barnes, we were just talking, you were mentioning where Officer Parker was and where he may have had a better view, and from
He and Kushner. Parker was closer than Kushner, though.
the rough sketch that we drew kind of shows him straight away from the
It
door.
may be a little more. I'm just it's like he may have had a different view.
Okay.
I'm not saying that he did, but
Okay.
I'm sure he should have been able to see. He could see the guy's hands and stuff, and being good too.
Okay, but from what you're saying and what you saw, his hands were up at a minimum at his shoulders.
Right. At a minimum.
Okay. At the time the round was discharged.
Right. It just shocked. It just surprised us. Like, what the hell?
Okay. And you said that the officers, well, actually, you described yourself as being like you were pissed or you were angry. What were you?
No, what I'm talking about is that I'm like, what the hell? You know, like what I'm angry about is like, and I don't know. You know, he said I'm like, why did he shoot? You know, and I was okay even when we moved over and he was relieved. At the moment, I'm good. I mean, because we got to make sure. But then I got really angry when I was removed, not for being removed because I knew, but just being over there and you're sitting there and and then the adrenaline kind of comes off because TAC took over and you're just off to the side over in cover, and I'm just hot and sweat, and then one guy had a go bag and he let me have some water, and then and as I'm walking to the command bus, I was just like, what the hell happened? That's what I'm just like, in my opinion, in what I saw, I'm like, why did he shoot? He could say what he saw, and that's fine, but I didn't see what he saw. You know what I mean?
Well,
and I was just because I'm just coming down, and it's like, I was talking to him. Wait a minute, he didn't. He basically did everything I asked him to do, except come out. We were talking. But
did he comply when you were asking him to come outside?
He thought a couple of times he would say he was. Then he said, "No, if I come out, of course with the handcuffs." And I said, "Okay, no handcuffs. We'll just come out and talk to us." He said, "No, you want me to get away from the door." He did say that. You want me to get away from the door so I can't retreat back. And I said, "No, I just want to come out." I said, "Hey, you know what? I don't, talking to you between the screen door, I mean, it would be nice if you come out and you could stand on the step or sit." Because at first he said, what if I just come right there and sit on the step? I said, "It'd be fine." But
yet he still didn't do that?
No, he didn't do it.
And how long was this negotiation going on for?
Hey, I really, it almost seemed like it was forever. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't know how long.
Okay.
Now, and if he'd closed the door and gone back in the house, we weren't going to knock on the door, because no one. Now, as far as I'm noted, none of his family, all his family was out of the house, so it was just him in the house.
Okay. But if you don't know how long the negotiation was going on for, but during that time, it sounds like from what you told me, you gave him several opportunities just to come out, and then even change your plan.
Yeah, but in a couple of times he would talk about it. Then his biggest thing was, everybody leave and then you stay. And then he would start to work. He kept saying he was thirsty and he was going to go in his kitchen and get some water.
But even though you changed your plan and even allowed him to come out and told him he wouldn't be handcuffed, he still didn't comply with that? Okay. And I think you said you could never actually see the gun.
No, because he tried to open the door wide enough for me to see it. And I could see in there, but I couldn't see the gun. I just couldn't see it,
Right.
And I didn't want him to reach and say, "Here you go." No, I didn't want that. He said it was in the holster. I want to say he might have said it was a brown holster. He did say it was a 357 black or something like that.
Okay.
He even wanted me to come get the gun.
Now, after this has been over, have you talked to any of the other officers about this?
No, I know it shouldn't be much talking. Only thing Parker said to me when he took over for Torres, he said, "Hey, Rodney, if he comes out," he said, "the door opens this way. If he comes out," I said, "if he comes out, you got a rifle. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna kind of like, do what you got to do, And he said, "We just had a plan on, hey, the door opens this way. So if he opens that door, we'll see it. The screen door. It has to open where we are." And then, cause he said, "Man," he said, "this ain't good, And I said, "Tell me about it, That's it." Then,
what did he mean? What did you think? I don't know if you can't really say.
I think what he meant was the same thing I thought. Like, why did you shoot? That seemed that, and it seemed to me like we kind of understood. And he said, "Oh, it's going to be a long day," He said it's going to be a long day, something like that. He said, "I won't make my overtime assignment at 6. He had an overtime assignment at St. Lee's at 6. And I said, "Nope." And then we were finally relieved by TAC. And then we went over to the tree line. The other officers like Neil was, because he's new, he kept saying, "Oh, I'm just trying to go over what," I said, all I told him, he was talking, I said, "Neil, just yeah, you're going to talk to IA. Just tell them what you saw. Don't, if you didn't see, you tell them exactly what you saw, exactly what you did. That's it. And then he didn't say nothing else because he was kind of just talking, and I know you shouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean? Because Dave wasn't saying anything. Dave was up there by the tree. I said, hey man, because I asked him, are you okay? You know, I said, hey. He said, I'm just trying to go over. I never been to IA. I said, no big deal. You're going to talk to a lot of people. Just tell them what you saw. Tell them everything. Tell the truth. And then he didn't say nothing else. And then the other two officers, they didn't really say anything to me. They didn't come, hey man, what happened? I wasn't going to tell them anyway. And Lieutenant Joker didn't ask me either. He just came down and say what the robot was doing. Because I even said if he came and asked me what happened, I wasn't going to tell him. You know, I just didn't feel like, you know, but he did. Then my lieutenant came down, and he stood there for a while, and he was like, because I was sweating, you know, I was angry too. But I mean, like I said, if he seen, I just didn't see what he saw. I can't say, oh, man, if I didn't have a good view, then I can't question that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I can't say, you know, if my view was obstructed and something like that, that's different. Then I'm not going to second guess what somebody did or what they felt, you know? Then the guy's kids are like a door down, 2 doors down. They heard the shot. Mm-hmm. One of them tried to come out, and you could hear, don't hurt my dad. This is after the shot, you know? And then we had to get somebody over there to tell them not to come out of the house, you know? Because they wasn't being, you know, he could have just ran out and we couldn't have done anything. So they got an officer up there. And so as I just kind of like decompressed a little bit out there, you know, I was like, what the fuck? You know, I wasn't like scared because I didn't know what to do in the situation, and like, but I was like, what happened? You know?
Okay. Is there anything else that you think that I need to know about, or anything else you can remember that I haven't asked you about? And this won't be your only opportunity to talk to me, but you're thinking of right now that I need to know.
Right at this moment, I can't.
That completes the interview with Officer Barnes. The time is 20:34 hours.